Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday afternoon, July 17th, and we're now entering week 3 of Political Science 1013 for the second 7-week term, summer term at OPSU. All right, everybody, we've gotten through the first exam. Some people did better than others. Some students were just below passing. I wouldn't be too alarmed. You've had one opportunity to pick up extra credit, and you can get an attendance bonus. So I think everybody can still get through this successfully, but you'll need to show some improvement on exams 2, 3, and 4, of course, if you scored in the 50s on the first exam, as some students did. Others did better, so I didn't think it was out of the ordinary, the performance on the exam, and everyone now should have an idea of what the degree of difficulty will be on these exams. Our second exam is coming up now Wednesday the 27th, and it will cover units 3 and 4 on the media and the Constitution. Everyone, before the exam, in about a week, I want to try to get a second discussion in. That will probably be this coming Saturday through Monday, so look for an announcement on that. Friday, that will be coming, Friday the 22nd, for the 23rd through the 25th for the discussion, and then the exam coming up on the 27th. I think it's going to be related to free speech issues and the First Amendment of the Constitution. All right then, everybody. Unit 3 is a short unit. The unit on the Constitution, Unit 4, is much longer. In Unit 3 on the mass media, we try to accomplish a couple of things. Number one, we try to look at the media landscape and the different kinds of media. And the big issue is new media versus old media. Old media being print, radio, and television. And of course, with the passage of time, those media are being more and more supplanted by new media, online sources, and of course, social media. And exactly how far they will be supplanted remains to be seen. Well, that's an ongoing shift that is going on. And it poses a problem, of course, for old media. For the exam, you have an article to read about TikTok, which is a social media platform popular with young people. Facebook has been supplanted largely by Instagram and TikTok, especially with those under 30, high school and college students especially. Concerns have been raised about TikTok because of its ties to the Chinese government, and that's what you'll be reading about in the article we've assigned you. All right. Then the second part of that unit on the media deals with issues that arise in news coverage, and especially charges of ideological bias in the news media. Okay. One thing we emphasize, the media are essential and ubiquitous, but their activities are just about always controversial. So, two things we try to cover in the media unit. Okay, the different kinds of media, plus issues related to news coverage, such as charges of ideological bias. All right, that brings us to Unit 4, the far longer unit of the two that we'll be having on the second midterm exam on the 27th. Now, among the things we try to do in Unit 4, we talk about the situation leading up to the Constitution that takes us back 100 years or more, really, to the beginning of European settlement of the country, or the territory that would become our country, up to the Constitutional Convention, which spans 150 years or more. Okay? Because what went before has a good deal to do with what ends up in the Constitution. We spend some time going through the Constitution point by point, not every single provision of it, but we try to hit the highlights. The original 7 articles, the Bill of Rights, and the amendments added after the Civil War, especially. Okay, so we don't go through every provision in excruciating detail, but we try to hit the highlights. And in the process of so doing, we talk about some of the ideas behind the Constitution, which are discussed especially in the Federalist Papers, which are in the appendix to your textbook, especially numbers 10 and 51, and the main points of those are discussed in the class notes. Now, at the end of the unit, we discuss such issues as federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties, all of which are treated in separate chapters in your textbook. Now, I sent a message out that mentions you have an exceptionally long reading assignment for this unit, okay, Unit 4. You have 4 chapters from the textbook plus some material in the appendix of the textbook. That includes the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution itself, and the Federalist Papers. All good things to read through if you have never done so. And you want to take especially a close look at the 2 Federalist Papers, which are discussed in the class notes to Unit 4. Now, of the 4 units assigned, the 4 chapters assigned, I believe that would be chapters 2 through 5. Okay. 3, 4, and 5 deal with federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties, not necessarily in that exact order. You might want to devote more of your attention, if you're pressed for time, to chapter 2, which deals with the Constitution proper, the Constitution itself. Okay, much of what we talk about in the class notes overlaps with chapter 2, and the material in 3, 4, and 5 we cover briefly. Okay, so if you press for time, excuse me just a moment, you all. If you press for time, concentrate on chapter 2 and the 2 Federalist Papers in the appendix of your textbook. Okay, try to look at all of it if you can, but if you press for time doing that reading for chapter 4, for Unit 4, concentrate on chapter 2 and the 2 Federalist Papers. All right, we'll have more to say next week, everybody, about the Unit 4 material and also the 2 readings you've been assigned for the exam about the Constitution, which you might say take pro and con positions on the Constitution. One of them is friendlier to the Constitution than the other in those 2 readings. All right, so quite a bit to do between now and the 27th, and we'll talk to you about all that again about a week from now at this time. So take it easy, study hard, and we'll talk to you again in a few days.